Hello, namaste, and welcome all the beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. I'm sorry that I was a little late to update my third video because I was just to let you know that I was not feeling well and I was sick for a few weeks, so I couldn't come back. But I'm glad that I'm back here, and I will talk more about how to be RN and the additional information about how to be RN in Canada. Last video was about the question and answers, and I included the information about RPN and LPN and RN as an entry to practice nursing in Canada. So I want to continue that, and I want to continue my question answers for this video. So okay, if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel, and my name is Januka Thapa. I am working as an RN in Ontario, Canada right now. And I'm working as a mentor and the resource person for the newcomers who wants to come in Canada as an internationally educated nurses. Well, okay, I want to continue with the question and answers as a continuation part of my second video. As in part one for the question and answer round. If you want to know what was there in the part, then I have given the link down below in the description box. Please don't forget to check the description box every time that I upload the video, because there will be some more information about the related topic. So the first question that I want to answer here is most of the people, most of the girls and most of the boys were confused about the duration that NNA is gonna take while you are on the process of the application. So the time that NNAs would take is like when you open an account, it's up to you that how much time you're gonna take to fill out all the forms and submit the forms and pay the forms. And once you pay the forms, they will give you the opportunity to download all the forms from the website. Then after that, that's all your personal time, so that's not considered within NNA's time. After that, then you need to take all that forms and submit back to their respective organizations. So it all depends on the individual organizations, that how long they would gonna take. So it depends on your country, on your university, and all your university department that you're gonna go and fill out those documentations. So that is the extra time besides the NNA's particular time. So the time that NNA is gonna take is that once you have gathered all the documents from your home country, from all the institutions, once you submit all the documents to NNAS, and when NNAS confirm that they have received the documentation, and they will give you the notification saying that ready for evaluation. So if there is ready for evaluation for all the criteria like work experience, your nursing council forms, and then your education and your employer's form, everything has to be at that same condition, saying that ready for evaluation. From that day, NNAs would take maximum of 10 weeks to complete the assessment and then to give you the reports. So make sure that you submit the documents as soon as possible, just to avoid the delay in your processing time. So this is what most of the people ask me about. And one more thing, when I talk about the time that NNA is gonna take about, I told you 10 weeks, right? So after you got the report, the respective regulatory body, it's gonna take the time which might take from 2 weeks to months, and it all depends on how complete your documentation. So it varies from individual to individual, so I can't say that it just have the specific time frame. So it depends on the provinces, and it depends on how complete your individual documentation is. I just want to add up a little bit on this topic. So once you have opened the account, that account would be valid for only 1 year. That means 12 months of the day one that you open the account. So make sure that you complete all the process within that time frame. Otherwise, you need to pay the additional or expiration fees if you want to continue after that. So it's going to be more expensive. I'm going to talk about the fees. And the second question in this video is about the fees that NNA is gonna charge you guys. So the application fees, the main application fees would be $650. That means if you want to apply only for RN or RPN, then they will charge $650. But if you want to add more criterias, like let's say if you want to apply for both RN and RPN and you want to add RN or RPN in your application, then they will charge you extra $220. That's the main application fees. And then the second charge is like if you want to apply for more than one regulatory bodies, that means one province, then for example, let's say if your initial application is for Alberta, then if you want to add more province, then they will charge you $55. And I want to remind you guys, once you open the account, from the day one that you open the account is valid for 1 year. So please be mindful that you complete all the documentation within that time frame. And if you passed out that time frame and you couldn't complete the documentation, then that application is considered as the expired application. So to continue the evaluation for that expired main application, you need to pay the extra charge of $180, and then you can continue the evaluation process. So just to save a little money, I just remind you guys, I just suggest you guys to complete the documentation as soon as possible. The main important thing is that complete the documentation in your home country as soon as possible. Please don't delay. That will save a lot of time. This was the main fees, the important fees that they will ask. And if you want to, let's say if your documentation is in a different language, if you couldn't translate your documentation in your country, then if you want NNAS to translate that documentation, then they will charge you extra $45 per page. So it all depends on you whether you want to do that or not. I recommend if you have any documentation besides in English, besides in your own language, then please do translate in your own country. That would be more cheaper. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, and the very common questions that people want to know about is like, can they start NNAs from their home country? I would say yes. If you have internet access and if you know how to download the forms, fill out the forms, and just scan the forms, then yeah, of course you can initiate the NNAS application from your home country, from anywhere in the world. So there is no restrictions or barriers that you need to come or be within Canada and start the documentation. That was another question. Then another question is like, if you got eligibility for NCLEX, then can you give the NCLEX in any part of the world? That was another question. So yes, I would say yes, because if you have, it's all about you are going to give that exam in the internet, in a computer-based, that's a computer-based examination. So you can give the exam anywhere in the world if you have the Pearson VUE Center in your country. When you get your eligibility and your information will be sent to the Pearson VUE Center. That means I have talked about the Pearson VUE Center in my previous video. It's a vendor that provides an opportunity to write the exam and NCLEX exam to all the nurses throughout the world. So they have varieties, they have number of centers in different countries. But when you want to give the exam, when you book for your test, if you're out of Canada, then you need to, there is an option between choose NCLEX between US and Canada. So you have to choose the NCLEX for Canada and you are all good to go. So you can write the exam anywhere if you have the Pearson VUE Center in your country. I hope these answers would be helpful for you guys. If you have any queries, as I always say, that you can always write me the questions down below in the comment section. All right. Okay. And I got a question from the nurses out there in US and Canada and Australia and United Kingdom and different part of the world. I just want to let you know, guys, that though you are working RN in different countries, in English speaking countries, you need to start the NNAS right from the beginning, because the Canadian RN, they will not accept the nurses from internationally educated nurses from different different countries if you're working as an RN already in your country where you're residing. So it's always make sure that you always need to start the NNS application as everybody does as an internationally educated nurses. So yes, you know, you can't be RN directly if you're RN in US or Australia or United Kingdom. That was another question. Okay guys, another question that I got mostly from the people was they were confused about the work experience that they will have to fill out in the employees or the work experience form. I always suggest that always fill out the form when you open the account, and when you need to fill out the work experience section, you always fill out the part truly whatever you have done. So if you have worked as a nursing tutor, then you can always apply as a always include that part in that experience section. Or if you have been working as in clinical sector, then of course you can work you can always fill out the part accordingly. So don't be confused about what to do and what not to do. It is always okay to you being as a nursing instructor in your country, and still you can apply as an RN here, so that doesn't make any difference. The only thing that I would suggest is that if you have gap of work experience more than 3 years, then it is considered as unsafe period for the nurses right here in Canada, and then they will consider it as an unsafe. So I would suggest that before applying for the RN, you just do some you know, like temporary job as an RN, and then complete at least 450 hours to fulfill that gap. Then once you have done that, then you'll be okay. So the years of experience may or may not have that big role in your evaluation, but it is always important that you are safe to practice here in Canada. That counts the important part in this work experience. So I hope you get the question, you get my answer. If you still have any questions, please write the specific question in the comment section, and I will try to answer you guys as soon as possible. One more thing, okay, the volunteer work is always a volunteer work, so it is not as counted as a work experience. It might be considered as volunteer work. So I don't think you should write the volunteer hours in the work experience section. So volunteering the job, doing volunteering, and then working as an RN or RPN is completely two different parts. So please make sure that your work experience is not your volunteer or internship or any apprentice. So please make sure about that. Okay, and one more thing, the IELTS or the English requirement, one more question which most of the people have asked me about: is your English language valid forever? No. Once you have submitted all the English or fulfilled the criteria of the English language, it is valid for only 2 years. So make sure that you have 2 years, and within that 2 years of time you complete your NCLEX and you become RN. If you do not do that, then your English language will be expired, and then you need to give the English language proficiency test again, and you need to submit everything again. So make sure you do that within the time frame. I hope you got your answer. All right, okay guys, if you need any more information, or if you have any more questions, just please be mindful and always ask me more questions about that. Okay, and one more question, if you're already in your home country, and can you still start the NNS application? Yes, I would say yes, you can start the application as soon as possible, and you can, because it's all about the internet access. And if you are in your home country, it will be easier for you to go to your respective organization by yourself and complete the documentation by yourself and submit it to the NNS. That would be more easiest way. If not, if you are already in Canada, then you can always ask your relatives or friends and families to complete your form out there in your country. So yeah, you can do either or. There is no any specific or rules, or there's always a way. If you want to do anything, you can always figure out something for you guys. Alright guys, this is all for today. Okay guys, I'm gonna come back again next week with the new ideas or new information on how to be RN or any related topic. Until then, you stay healthy, happy, and wiser. Of course, wiser. And don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. And also, please do send me some feedback. If you want me any specific topic to talk about, and then please you can write down below, and then I will always come back with the specific video for you according to your request. Till then, I would like to say that you guys stay healthy, happy, and be more wise. Okay guys, take care and be happy. See you again.